Wherever you are in the world. This is Grow Your Life Tribe with Tina and Stephen, and our special guest today, RJ. So first of all, hello Tina.
Hello Stephen.
And hello RJ. And it's great to have you on the show.
I'm so excited to be here. This is awesome. Thank you for asking me to come on.
How could we not? We love your bots.
Yes.
It has to be said. So this welcome to the show, everybody. And this is Grow Your Life Tribe with Tina and Stephen, and we're talking today about messenger bots. Now, is it messenger bots or chat bots? Which is the right way to?
You know, I like chat bots, but I also use messenger bots. I will not use bots alone because people think of Russia and Twitter, and that is not what we're doing. Yeah, people are very suspicious of that, but if you put the word chat or messenger in front of it, it qualifies a little bit, and I find people are more receptive.
Now, I see chat bots as the automated response to when you go to a website and you need customer service, and you type, that to me is a chat bot. So I call it messenger bot. I don't really like chat bot either because to me it's Facebook Messenger. It's not Facebook chat. I think it's Facebook chat.
Now we've known each other since the Blab days. Do you remember those days, RJ?
I remember there was a purple screen. Yes, I remember those days so very well, Stephen. Made so many really beautiful friendships, and the Blab days. Those were the days. Those were.
That's where it all began. As you say, we're all still together, which is a testament to the power of live video. Now, whereabouts are you based? And take it from there.
Take it from there. So I am based in Omaha, Nebraska. It is exactly in the middle of the United States, just about. There's nothing to see here but me if you come by. And there's a lot of corn. There's a lot of corn here. So I began my internet biz. I've been helping people with technology-related stuff for years and years. But I hung my shingle out technology-wise full-time 2.5 years ago. And I recently, probably about 6 months ago, it was June, July, that I started really getting heavily into chatbots.
And which system do you prefer? Because we've got several, haven't we?
There are several. And when I got into this, I don't think I slept for about 3 days. It was like the beginning of Blab. It was insane. I checked out everything. And the service that I stick with now, Chat Fuel, is very good. It has a lot of options, but the interface is just a little bit more technical. I stick with ManyChat because my customers tend to want to get in there and look at things and kind of, move stuff around. They have more of a hands-on aspect. So I pick ManyChat above the rest because it has a great interface and it's pretty simple to learn if you put a couple hours into it.
Totally agree. Because it's basically what they've done is taken all the coding away.
Yes.
And the thought of
even the people like us, I know Stephen and I probably you, because you said you were really techie. We know how to code at least a little. Stephen probably knows a lot more than I know. It doesn't make me like to. It's like you don't want to reinvent the wheel every time you drive down the road. So yeah, I like that. It takes the coding out of the picture.
Well, I kind of liken it to website builders. WordPress, ultimately powerful. You could probably take over the world with that thing, but little bit of a techie interface. Then you've got something like Squarespace or Wix, where no code at all, not as powerful, but people can dip their toe into that pool a little bit easier. So it's just like that, I think, with ManyChat and Chat Fuel. That's a comparison I usually use.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think that's.
Sorry, Tina, all yours.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's an excellent comparison. Because, it definitely is made just like content management systems, and I used Joomla before WordPress, but just like that, Squarespace, all those different things have made web development and web design more accessible to small business owners who can afford to hire people to come in and hand code websites for them. The messenger bots has made this, or not the messenger bots, but services like ManyChat have made this accessible to everyone so that they can use this for their business.
Yeah. Well, one other reason I will give a shout out to ManyChat, and this is something I always do when I'm reviewing software. I check out the customer service because Lord knows you are going to need that at some point. The customer service on ManyChat is pretty superior. Those folks will get back to you, and it's a beautiful thing. They will get back to you. They will treat that problem like it's their own, and that's a second reason that I really recommend it, because that's the kind of help you need when you're working with bleeding edge technology. There's so many things that could go wrong. There's a lot of moving parts, and having somebody who is there for you and there with you, the customer service is great over there. So definitely another reason to recommend.
Yeah. And there's a great group as well, isn't there? A group of people who help each other. It's a bit like video, really, isn't it? Live video. People willing to help each other rather than compete.
Well, there's so much out there. Why cooperate, never compete? Absolutely. And the groups, I probably am in about 6 or 7 of them. They're all so helpful with people, especially people just learning or having questions. And then the customer service people pop in and say stuff sometimes too. It's like a little community. It's really nice.
And we say hello. Sorry, Tina.
We do this every time we talk at the same time.
Just say hello to Barb, and Barb agrees that ManyChat is the king of messenger bots, or messenger builders. So we need to start with a question. I missed the question mark out, but Tina, you go first.
I was just going to say, having all the customer service is great, and then having the groups to help you along to learn how to use and set up the bots is one thing, but it really is, I think, a gift to be able to create an entertaining, good bot, as we were talking about before we came live, something that's fun and interesting to engage with. I think that's a talent all of its own, and RJ she's done that. I told her whenever I met her, and this is the first time meeting her in person, was coming on before this, I've been playing with her bot all morning. So it really is, there's a difference between learning how to utilize it and actually learning how to use it where that it's effective and fun. And I think that's the same for websites too. I mean, anybody can build a blog on WordPress. It doesn't mean it's good.
Right. And I've been practicing this a lot. My first bot was almost an accident, my friends. It was almost an accident. I was doing some coaching with a client, and we had kind of a little accountability thing going on where she would kind of check in a couple of times a day with, this is what I've got done, this is what I need to do. It just, sometimes it helps to have a sounding board. I know I'm a solopreneur. I know a lot of solopreneurs. Having a sounding board and having somebody to be accountable to is super key to success. So we were talking about that, and I had built a little thing where you get on my website and then you fill out this form and, twice a day. And she said to me, RJ, if only I could just fill it all out in Facebook Messenger every day, because I've got 3 kids and it's hard to read stuff on this phone. And if it was just in Facebook Messenger. And like almost the same day, I was rolling around the internet, as I do sometimes when I probably should be working. Anyway, that's another story. I was rolling around the internet, and I joined a group that a friend of mine was in because she had been talking about messenger bots. And I'm like, well, it was Jenny, Coach Jenny. She's in there. I got to be in there. So I got in there, and there was a bot that you could join. I clicked on that thing, and I think 5 seconds later, I was in like Flynn. I was a changed human, and I started writing that accountability bot it was that day. It was like, this is so simple, because I already had stuff written out. I changed it up a little bit. I made it a conversational format. I added some emojis and some fun pictures and some fabulousness and some little gifs. And then I gave it to that client, and I said, what do you think? And she could not quit raving about it. And she could not, she was so consistent with it, with reporting in what was going on with her and what she was doing. And I thought to myself, well, and then another friend, I gave it to a couple of other friends. One of my friends put it on her wall. I got 70 people joined overnight. I got clients out of that. Mm-hmm. I didn't even mean to get clients. I just was writing. I was just like, I'm a technical person. When a client says to me, boy, I wish I had this in this format, I go, okay. It's something that I normally do, but people who are complete strangers to me picked up Accountabilibot. Thanks for putting that up. Picked up Accountabilibot, and boom, I had some clients out of that. So it was really a beautiful experience. And then right after that, it was like, well, if one bot is this much success, 6 more would be really great, wouldn't it?
and this is the bot I've been playing with this morning.
Accountabilibot, awesome.
So I think it's great. Right. It's a lot of fun, and I am like you. I work from home, entrepreneur, so having that little fun way to be accountable and write down those 3 things that I should be focusing on today, and then have the little bot come back. And I subscribe to several bots, and there's some good ones that aren't necessarily fun. Like, I won't say the name of the person, but they send me tips. Like, every day I get a tip about how to make the most out of Facebook groups. Wonderful tips. They're really good, valuable information that he's sending, but it's boring. I was like, you could have just sent me the email with all 10 tips and we'd be done, So take a lesson from you.
This is where we've got to start with this question. It's a question from Barb first. What are some of the best case scenarios for using bots, RJ?
Well, I can speak from experience when I tell you that if you are an entrepreneur, or if you're a solopreneur, or even if you don't have a business, maybe you've got a side hustle, and you've got something to educate people on, then bots are awesome. Bots are they're a wonderful place to educate people, because you can give people a little bit every day, just as you were saying, Tina, with that bot that you're subscribed to. You can give people, because here it is. We all get excited about stuff. I'm terribly excited about messenger bots. I know you can tell that from across the sea. You can tell that.
Indeed.
And I could talk to you all day about them, but when we get excited about stuff and passionate, we can talk all day, but people's cup is only about this big. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you're only going to take a little bit away from this. So why not have a delivery system where you can deliver a little bit every day, probably with a smile and maybe a little giggle. And then people start getting used to that. People start getting used to you and your personality. So the question was, what's the best case scenario? Here's best case scenario. You've got something that you want to teach people. Most people have something like that nowadays in the form of sign up on this email list and I'll give you 87 tips on digital world domination. Something like that, right?
Okay.
So if you've got something to teach people and you can put it in a conversational way that showcases your personality. Now, this is very important. Tina was talking about this earlier. You can totally make a bot right now that is just a copy and paste of your email stuff. I saw David Vaughn's name. David, hello. All right. I'm getting back now. So having something that showcases your personality and teaches people at the same time, that's what's going to make you memorable and top of mind. That's going to make it so that when that messenger pings and they see that it's you, that they're going to open that with excitement, read their little tip of the day, get a hold of your personality, and then, be back again the next day. So when you have some education that you need to give people and you can infuse your personality into a bot, that is absolutely the best case scenario. And I haven't met an industry yet that can't benefit from this. Everybody can.
You're not going to have to talk about how we can do something for the funeral industry, because that's what I work in.
That would be perfect. I would love to talk to you about that. Awesome. In fact, for viewers on the show today, I've got a special thing. I've got a link there that I gave you guys earlier. If you get on that link and get on my calendar, it's a half an hour with me, half an hour eyeball to eyeball, talking about how, is this something that's good for your business? And especially for the funeral business, hey, that's a little bit of a sensitive area, right?
Very right.
How can you, what's the right time to be able to educate people on what you've got going on?
Tone is really important.
Tone's huge.
Dealing with this industry. So it's definitely something I've thought about. I don't think I haven't given it any thought yet, but you do, yours is like a story, and the tips that we were talking about that I was getting before. So I'm getting these tips, and what he's doing is absolutely great. I mean, the tips are good. It's good, valuable information. The truth is, if it came to my email, I may or may not read it. The open rates are not going to be nearly as good on your email campaigns as they are on your messenger bot. And if he gave me all 10 tips at one time, like you said, your cup is only so big. And really, we're talking about shot glasses in today's age. That's all our attention.
I'm switching that explanation right now. Shot glasses from now on.
Right. And so to get one tip, then I have the whole day before I get the next one the next day to really mull that over in my mind and see how I can use that tip, and maybe even find the time during the day to implement that tip in my groups. And so what he's doing is perfect. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing, but it could definitely use an infusion of his personality, because he does have a great big personality. He's not putting that into his bot yet. So maybe he'll get there.
There's an element here, and it comes across in your bots, messenger bots, RJ, is that when you send out the daily message, and we'll come to the 5-day courses in a moment, when you send out the daily message, it's interactive, and you send a message, and as a user, I have to interact. So what I'm actually doing is you're giving me the control, because if I don't press that button, nothing happens. But you've made it so interesting that I want to press that button because I want to know what comes next.
Yes.
And that's the magic.
Well, she's got in her accountability bot, so you can set it up where you can have little 25 minutes. So it'll say start now, and in 25 minutes, you'll get a prompt to know that your time is over. Well, this morning I didn't need that. I was actually already doing something, and I knew that 25 minutes, but I had to click because I wanted to see what happened. When I clicked it to see what happened after the 25 minutes was up. And so, yeah, really, she does a great job of compelling you to take that next step. And keeps it fun. Like, I haven't gotten bored, and I've been working with it. And I know Stephen's been using it for, well, how long? I've been using it for like 3 days.
Well, yeah, I've completed. Which bot have I completed? I completed black belt bots. That was why I wanted to contact you and get you on the show, because
I don't even know what that one is. I got to go find that now.
It's all about bots, but it's all about bots in daily sessions which you control, and you get to know what bots are. I mean, it's just fascinating, and you're in control, which all brings you sort of perfected the art. And you're going to get a lot of superlatives here today because we both enjoy the bots, but you've perfected the art of the 5-day mini course.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So we were talking about the shot glass earlier, the shot glass of attention span. What I aim to do in the bot, and what always people are aiming to do with, people get onto your newsletter, and a lot of folks have like a 5-day email train set up, where you basically kind of onboard people into your circle, into who you are, into what you teach or what you do. And so what I've done is I've taken that 5-day course and crushed it into what do you got to know about this? Because it's an entirely different way to teach people. A conversation is an entirely different way to teach people than a lecture. Nope. I have the secret inside track on this because I actually do teach down at the university. I teach one class a year. And it's all interactive, and there's not a single lecture the whole time except for the first night when I read parts of the syllabus. And that's it, because I hate lectures so much. So I was totally given to writing these bots, which are, if you look at your Facebook Messenger and you look at the last 5 conversations that you've had with friends or family or people you love and care about, It's a sentence here, a sentence back. It is very interactive. There are GIFs in there usually. There's some emojis in there. Not everyone will admit it, but there's some emojis in there. And it's fun, it's interactive, it's people you care about. I want to be a business you care about. And I want to write that same sort of information in a conversational way. So there's a little bit of transformation. I've written several bots for people now where they've given me their email train and said, RJ, could you make this into a bot? Well, of course I can. The way to do it is to know how much attention you need to be capturing, know how long that sequence is for optimum reachability and readability when you do reach them, and be able to say things in a really concise way that leaves people wanting a little bit more. See, that's the difficulty sometimes with email is that, I mean, I get on there, you guys, the newsletter, I want to write a book. I just want to write all day. This is what I'm feeling, all of these things. And I know that it won't end up read. It's too long. People like to scan. People like to bullet point. Fantastic. Take the scans, take the bullet points, transform those into bite-sized little messages. As Stephen was saying, I'm completely always asking for people questions. Type your answer and hit send for me. I'll send you along this little trail if you say yes. I'll send this little trail if you say no. I want that interactions. I want to know who you are. Because at the same time, you're qualifying me for this educational experience. I'm also qualifying you. Is this somebody that I might want to talk to further about doing something? So I got off on a little bunny trail there. I just wanted to warn you.
You're on point. You're talking about 5-day mini courses.
Yeah.
I've got a question about that, because they're not text courses, are they? They are graphics courses, and you put the graphics together, it must take you hours.
Well, I have a secret.
Oh, do tell.
I will for your audience just today, and whoever watches forever. But for your audience just today. So I go to canva.com. I make a background, and then I go to a place called bitmoji.com. Those are all the cartoons of me. Mm-hmm. And I just look for keywords and download those images, put them on the background, put a little branding on there, you're in. So I've got it down to a system, because you really need to, with the bots, you really need to give a lot of images. And I knew that I needed to develop a system, or I wasn't going to be able to craft as many bots as I'd like.
But even so, there's an artist. You can't do it unless you have an artistic bent or talent, and that comes through as well. In relation to bots, we're now getting questions in. There's a question from David, which might fit on the screen, might not, but I will read it out to you, and we can all take it, I think. Many are using bots in ways I would consider wrong, that basically equates to email spam. What are the top 3 tips you can offer that would help people not fall into this bottomless pit? Okay, bottomless pit. That's the pun of the day. Award goes to David Vaughan. So 3 tips for avoiding becoming a spammer.
So number 1, and first and foremost, give people choices in your bot. Give people choices about what they want to hear. The first message of the day for me is nearly always a little image saying hi, and then a little question saying, hey, this is RJ stopping in. Do you want to learn more about blank today? And there's a yes and the no. And it's okay if you push no. Give people an out, don't bug people. The one thing that is really helpful in ManyChat is that, at a certain, if you can send one message beyond a 24-hour period to try and get back into touch with somebody, but you can't send more than one if they don't respond. And so I would say that the top thing is absolutely just give people an out. I've got sequences that run that are all about marketing and stuff like that. If you have an email list, great. I've got this set of questions. If you don't, then I just give you a message. Hey, we're going to skip those questions for now. Okay. And then we go on with the rest of it. Give people a way through that. That's not don't railroad them. Don't railroad them. You wouldn't in a conversation, or maybe you would railroad people in a conversation, but they're sure not going to listen. They're going to back out from you. One tip to remember, it's a conversation with somebody that you care about. That's what I aim for. And maybe people don't care as much about businesses, and that's totally fine. But for me, I want to develop relationships and work with people that I care about. So that's really my main focus when writing the messages. I would never walk into somebody's house with a pair of shoes and say, sale today, $5. And when they look at me and go, I thought that we were friends, and just repeat, sale today, $5. You would never do that. Don't do that with your bot. Don't do that with your bot. I never sell things directly in my bot. The only thing that I'm giving to people in my bot, if they make it all the way through, then we get to get on a phone call together. That's it. That's it. I'm not selling you anything. I am not going to bother you. Also, here's another tip. There are keywords that you can set up in ManyChat that will unsubscribe people immedately. There is one that they set up called message is equals stop. Well, message equals unsubscribe. I also have an extra one in there that says message contains unsubscribe, because what I noticed was people wrote please unsubscribe if they didn't want to anymore, and then it wouldn't unsubscribe them. So deal with those keywords. And most of all, not biggest tip, because the biggest tip was the first one. And I don't know if you've been counting, David, but there's been some tips in here.
Yep.
Not man your live chat, but look at your live chat every day. Every day in the morning, I grab a can of soda. Thank you, Diet A&W. And I go over those bots. I go over what people are saying back to me. If there's a question, I answer it. I notice where people are dropping off, and I adjust that. A bot is not, and this is how it's different from email as well. Bot's not something that you write one time and let it roll. Maybe some people are trying to sell that out there. That's totally fine. But for me, it's a thing that I'm infinitely adjusting to welcome more people in. And I always give them a way out. If they want a way out, it's so easy. And I want it to be easy. I don't want to build up 1,700 people on my bot. I want to build a relationship with people through there. And it's easy for them to unsubscribe. I like it when people unsubscribe. Hey, nobody wants to waste their time, especially not on Messenger. I don't want to abuse the Messenger privilege. I want to give people a good experience. And if they don't want it, I give them a way out, easy ways out. I hope that answered the question. But if I didn't, he'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
I know him.
David will be back. Just as a hint, we too have a ManyChat bot running today. And if you type in guest into the comments, you can join us on camera. So I was talking to RJ before the show and mistyped Gust because I was listening, so I had to redo that one. So guest it is, and if you want to join us on the next show, all you need to do is type remind, and it was typed earlier by Mahmood. So Mahmood, thank you for typing remind earlier. It proves that this technology works, and Mahmood will be told about our next show, but he will not be sold to. And I think that's the key in bots, isn't it? Not selling to people. You said there is a path you're going to, and that path is to make contact with you on a landing page. Yeah,
absolutely. Make contact. The whole thing is about, if your business is built on building solid relationships, then a bot is for you. If your business is built on different things, cold outreach to masses of people, mass appeal, that kind of thing, if it's predicated on sales of certain things or whatever, it may not be the best thing. For me, it's the best thing because I'm a one-person business. I'm just a single person out here. I want to build relationships with people so that I can figure out, is this a person that I want to go further with, or is this somebody that maybe it wouldn't be such a great idea? I qualify people as much as they're qualifying me. And so that back and forth is so important. And that's not a back and forth I can get in email. Sometimes when I write an email, people will hit reply. Sometimes. But I get a reply with everybody. I get a reply with every single person in Bots.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. The engagement rate. I mean, let's just talk about for a moment about messenger bots versus email lists.
Yeah.
I know we've got an email list person in the audience today, haven't we? We've got two. We've got RJ and David. Oh, sorry. David's got a question. David's questions are pretty long today, so I'll read this out and then we'll move on. But this is an important issue. The big issue currently with bots is not providing a clear way to opt out of receiving messages. This is not yet an FCC violation, but just is a requirement with text messages that you must have a way to opt out, stop to quit. Do you advise clients to do this yet? I think you're answering this.
I think she did answer while he was typing.
Well, but I'll just reiterate, because it's such a wonderful question, because David is one of my loved ones in the universe. You know you are, David. Not only do I provide ways to opt out very easily, I also remind people that they can opt out easily. When I'm building a bot, I always have a message in there. I was building a bot, Gammy bot, for the holidays. It's one of the nonprofits that I work with. Gammy says right there in the first welcome message, hey, my grandkids tell me I talk too much all the time. If you think I'm talking too much, you can totally unsubscribe by just typing the word stop. I give people that out right at the beginning, and I remind them through the bot, not every day, constantly, obviously, but I do remind them that if they don't want to subscribe to something, and here's the cool thing about bots. Okay, are you ready? Because I know that a lot of people.
I'm going to put you full screen for this. Go.
Okay. A lot of you are live streamers out there and things like that. So maybe you have a live stream, and maybe you have a podcast going. Maybe you have several different kinds of content building that you're doing for people. You can subscribe people to the one that they want to hear the most. You can say, hey, I've got a podcast going on. It's every Tuesday at 2:00. And if you'd like, you can receive a reminder in here, a yes button and a no button. And then a couple of days later, when you're on another message, hey, I've got a live stream. It's every Tuesday at noon. You know, is this something that you want to hear about? People can opt in to the ones that they like to hear, their favorite content, and ignore the rest. How cool is that? It's just beautiful to me that, you know, people can, and then you can also look at your audience. They have statistics and stuff in ManyChat. You can look at your audience and go, how many like the podcast versus the live stream versus the blog? How many, you can start to know your audience a heck of a lot better. And that's one of the things that excites me so much.
Because Messenger is personal, isn't it?
It is.
You talked a little bit about not selling through the bot, and I agree. We talked about this a little bit on Tuesday. I received I don't know how many messenger bots for Black Friday and Cyber Tuesday that were selling me things. And, and I was okay with getting, this is a great deal, it's $300 off. Awesome. So I want to know that deal is there. But then I want you to leave me alone. If I want it, I'll come and get it. But instead of that being the only message I got, okay, well, there's 2 hours left. There's 30 minutes left. There's 5 minutes left. And then tomorrow they're telling me that there's 3 hours left again. So they're not even being true to their word of it going away, but they're just annoying me with it. So, I think it's good if you have some kind of awesome special or something that you're running. If you charge $500 an hour for consulting and you're going to give it to me for $100 this week, by all means, tell me, but don't just remind me. I think that's where they made their mistakes, because it was really aggravating. Why would you build this side up? That's my husband.
Hello.
I'm surprised you could hear him, but you didn't hear me earlier. But
Mark's ways carries.
Yes.
Well, and let's address that spam question for a moment, because absolutely there are people that are going to do this. So when email first came out, do you guys remember? It was a miracle. It was like, look, I can press a button and somebody across 3 states can read the message. You know, it was so beautiful. And then spammy folks got a hold of it. You know what I'm saying? And drove all of our open rates down to whatever they are these days. So here's what I love, because nobody owns email. You can get it through any number of platforms. Every single platform has their own rules, all of these other things. Great. Fantastic. However, I have read the Facebook Terms of Service on Messenger platform more times than I care to tell you. That is part of my job. And the main thing the main sentence that they say in there, it's really, really important to remember this. They want Facebook Messenger to be a place where you can have conversations with people and businesses that you care about. Facebook, I don't know how far y'all's relationship with Facebook goes, but me and Facebook, we are so deep. If you violate their terms of service, you'll get your stuff yanked so hard. It's easy to report a bot. Facebook has made it easy to delete the conversation, report a bot for getting a hold of you too often. Black Friday sales, hello. They've made it super easy, because the instinct that people have when their phone buzzes with Messenger is to answer it. Facebook has put a lot of money in that relationship, and they do not want somebody in there cluttering up that stuff and making it so that people go, I just don't, I'm not going to read this. They want people to have a relationship with Messenger. They're putting a heck of a lot of money. Just today, they released a feature where you can put a Messenger button on your website. I've got it on all 3 websites now. That people can chat to me. It's amazing, isn't it? It's like, I'm a small business. I don't have enough money for intercom. Now I don't need any money for intercom. It's so beautiful. Anyway, got off on a bunny trail there, but Facebook.
You're okay, because a question from Barb. Can the bots contain video? And I've seen your question, Sharon. I'll come back to it in a minute.
Absolutely. Here's what to do. Don't make the video over probably like 3 minutes. You can, it will only accept a 25 megabyte. This is on ManyChat. Don't know about the other platforms, but it will only accept a certain size file. I suggest short videos. I had one coach that puts people through a 7-day process. She comes in the morning and at night, and she made 14 videos for me. 14 2.5 3-minute videos. By the time you get done with her onboarding sequence, you have a feeling like you know her. You have a feeling like you know her personality. And so video is so cool. I absolutely love it, and I absolutely do include it in my bots.
Right. And I think a fellow bot builder here, Sharon Roberts Philippi, and 1 message per sale. That's what I didn't do. I can't stand that either.
Yeah, I have a feeling that some bots were reported over Black Friday. I actually didn't report or even unsubscribe from anyone, because I understand, because I do work in the industry. I understand that people are just getting their feet wet and learning how to use this stuff. So I have like a margin of forgiveness because I'm still learning too. And I actually have not even implemented a bot, because I'm a perfectionist, and so I'm going to drive myself crazy, but I'm worried about it, of making sure that it's fun and entertaining and they can opt out and everything's good. And so my question for you is, how do you, if you're going to sit down and write out a sequence, what does that look like for you?
What it looks like for me is I will get up a Google Doc, and I will decide, okay, is it a 5-day? Is it a 7-day? Usually that's what those are. And then I will think of up to 3 points that I want to teach in a day. Sometimes it's just 1, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's as many as 3 if they're short. Remember, shot glass of attention span. I will think of, so I'll start with that. I'll start with, okay, what's going to best represent the brand? what's going to best represent the business owner. And then I think about those 3 points. And then it kind of starts from there, really. I have guidelines that I go by as far as how long each message should be, how many times to include images, how many videos and GIFs to drop in and things like that. And I kind of work off of that. But what I do, just brand new blank screen, is, okay, is this a 5-day or is this a 7-day? What are the things that are the most important? It's like that Big Rocks First. It's like what is that? The Habits of Highly Effective People. You do your most important things first, because people have a tendency when they get on these things to be too wordy. So I make sure I'm getting my big rocks in there, and then I follow a set of guidelines. Okay, how many characters does this need to be? Hint, not too many. How many characters, how many images to include, all that stuff. I've got a set of guidelines that I go through for the rest of it, but know what you're teaching first. And you don't have to give all of that much. Honestly, people are going to be interested in talking to you. People are going to be interested in meeting you through the personality part as much as the content. You don't want to try to teach too much on the first spot.
So would you say, decide what it is that you want to teach? Like, what are your 3 main points? We'll just stick with 3.
Yep.
Kind of map those out. If possible, each sequence, 2 to 3 sentences. Because I don't like the big long paragraphs in that little short box. I have to scroll through to read it. Nobody likes doing that. And so then once you have that mapped out, then do you go back and look at what kind of images and videos can I use to infuse my personality into this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And most of the time when I'm looking for either GIFs or the Bitmoji that I use, I'm looking at the sentence I just wrote, looking at the keywords, and trying to find something that relates to those keywords. And so the content then lends itself to the finding of the images and the GIFs. The videos and stuff that I include, usually it's stuff that I shoot on my own. So I don't have to look for that. But again, I keep it short, because if you look back in your messenger, the last 5 conversations that you've had with loved ones, you didn't write 3 paragraphs and hit send. You did not. Neither did they.
I might have.
I knew we would find one exception. It is you, Tina.
I write like I talk, which is way too much.
Right. Now, obviously with bots, there's more than one approach, and we've got to accept that. And providing the people who are joining the bots, and we'll come to how to find people in a minute, are happy, because Sharon is saying at the moment, my subscribers sign up knowing they will get messages on sales. It was their choice to opt in, and I give the opt-out option every time as well. Well, I think that's fair, isn't it? Because if you say press here to opt out, then you're not hard sell. It's still a soft sell.
And I think it depends on your business. I mean, if you sell LuLaRoe, for example, if I am following you because you sell these cute little leggings, then probably what I want from you is like, hey, the candy cane leggings are $10 today. And so I expect to get that. So I think it's okay depending on your business and what you're doing. But yeah, definitely give me the opt-out choice, because if you're sending me that message 10 times a day, I probably am tired of seeing it. I'm going to opt out.
Right. Okay.
That's a really good point. So for sales and things like that, you're never mad when you go home and you pick up the stuff out of the mailbox and Gap has sent you a postcard that their jeans are on sale. You're never mad, and especially if you need jeans that day. It's like, oh, perfect. I'm placing this in my pocket and going out the door. It's when it's the spam heavy stuff. So make sure that they opt in, make sure that they know what kind of messages, when they're going to get them. Always in my introductions, I'll say, you're going to get messages over 7 days. They're going to come about once a day. If you'd ever like to unsubscribe, please type stop. I mean, I always let them know what this experience is going to be.
And you notice, and I'm guilty. So part of the reason I bring it up, because I do talk a lot and I like to write, and I actually like to read. I know a lot of people that'll go watch a video to learn how to do something, I'll go read it because I can read it faster than you can get through the video. So I know that I'm an exception there. But I've had to learn and talk myself out of doing this. But if you're doing, and it's funny that she says she sells LuLaRoe. I had no idea that she did. But if you sell that, if you're selling an item like that, don't give me a big long description. Like, you're talking me out of it, really. If I have to read 2 paragraphs to see that these leggings are on sale, that was completely unnecessary, and you probably talked me out of buying them. And I used to do that. So I had to tell myself that, you know, people know what I'm selling. I don't have to explain it every time I send them something or every time I put a sales image up. Really, a lot of times just the image and the price is all you need. Maybe the word sale there, but don't like talk people out of buying your product.
Do not inundate. These things, these bots need to be light and enjoyable.
Do not inundate. We're going to put the RJ's laws of bots. We're going to put that one in there. We should build up a list. Right. And a question from Carolyn. Carolyn, thank you for joining us. And thank you, Sharon, as well, and Bob. And David, can you use bots in Facebook groups? Okay.
Great question. I have a 3-part answer. Warm up, everybody. Okay, so the bots in Facebook groups, you cannot attach a bot to a Facebook group. You cannot attach one to a personal page. You can only at this point attach a bot to a business page, or a organization page, public facing, like business page type stuff right now. But here's how you can use it in your group, because I use it in mine. I will embed the link to the bot in the side with the description so that folks can be introduced to the group and be engaged with the group and know, kind of what's coming up with the group. This is the kind of group we are. These are the kinds of things that we do. So I embed the bot right in the side so that people, and then I, of course, refer to it a lot. But one thing that is really interesting is that I'm working with some direct sales folks that build up a team of people. And then the tough thing for them is that their people then kind of fall off, or, they've got information in the Facebook group for the direct sales group. Everybody that's with me, you need this information. But people look at that and they get overwhelmed. Well, what if you could serve it to them in a shot glass? And so for me, a Facebook group and a bot integrates so very well, because in the Facebook group, you can ask questions, you can do things, and maybe a few people will answer you. In a bot, every single person has the opportunity to speak without being heard by everybody else. You cannot imagine, like the coaching bots that I've written, people really talk to me when I ask them questions. When I ask the same questions in my Facebook group, you got your 5 favorite people that answer. So I think that Facebook bots and groups integrate super, super well. And especially when you've got a lot of information to give the people of that group, you can now space it out, give it to them in a shot glass, and still be social in the group. And
people feel like they're special because they're getting that one-on-one. Even though everybody in the group got the message on their personal messenger, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like we're talking directly to you.
And that's what's the beauty of it is because I meet so many small business owners, and the first thing that they say about their advertising is, I wish I could get in front of more people. I wish I could show more people my personality. You can, and you can do it in what feels like what is a one-on-one private experience. It's like when you go to a networking meeting. I've been to so many of these, you guys, this is not my place, but I go to these things and like you meet somebody and you have the conversation that you've had 5 times already. You're trying to get to know someone, and like maybe 1 out of 10 people you'll go, this is a cool person to work with. What if you could automate that first part? What if you could skip the first 4 dates and get to number 5? You know what I'm saying? What if you could automate the small talk and just have the conversation where this is the good stuff? That's what a bot does.
Right. So this is my question, because we talked about this before we came on air. How do you attract an audience for your bot?
Well, so what I have done is largely play with my warm audience, the people that I already have a connection to. I have been building a lot of bots for them. I've been so I've been trying my warm audience because it's a bleeding edge product. It's so, technology. Some people are sick of technology, stuff like that. So I've been starting out with my warm audience, getting plenty of business there. But there's a ton of ways that you can grow your bot subscriptions. One is the element that they just released today, where you can put a messenger button on your website. People chat in to ask you a question about stuff. You can say, and what I've said is, there's a little image of me that comes up and says, "You rang," me in a little butler thing with a little tray. It's hilarious. And then it says, "Hey, this is RJ's bot. RJ will be with you as soon as humanly possible to answer your question. Please type it here and hit enter." And then you type it, you hit enter. And then another message comes up that says, "Fantastic. She'll totally be right with you. In the meantime, would you like to learn a little bit more about bots?" And if they say, give them a yes or no. If they give a yes, they're subscribed to your bot. Brilliant. Website visitors. You can also run Facebook ads right to bots. They click the ad, their messenger opens and comes up. Mm-hmm. And if they hit yes in that, then they're subscribed to your bot. You can also, of course, do what you've done here, which is say this word in the comments and, say the word remind, I think is one of them. Type remind to be reminded in the next show. Absolutely. So you can do that through Facebook comments, is subscribe people to bots, because if somebody types that word, they'll be subscribed to your bot automatically. There are a lot of ways to do it. I use all of the passive marketing too. If you send me an email, you will see that there is a link to a bot in my email, where it says Rj Redden, blah, blah, blah. I use all of the passive ways, but a lot of the active ways is just working with people, getting my name out there and plastering the bots all over my footprints on the internet.
Are you using live a lot with your bots?
Not yet. I must, and I will, and I commit on air.
Why are you not doing more live?
No, what is wrong with me? You see, here's the deal. I'm a tech person. Yeah. You say to me, "Here's a new shiny thing," and boop, I'm off for 6 months looking at that shiny thing. I have built enough.
Let us watch you doing that.
Yeah,
I have a friend that he is that way with audio visual stuff. Mm-hmm. And so we actually set up a camera, and he would just be like talking to himself, and they can't even see his screen because he wasn't screen sharing at the time. So he's like talking to himself, trying to work through what's wrong with the sound. And people are like, "I love this. It's like watching a mad scientist at work."
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. This is my lab right here. Yep. Perfect. Well, so the reason why I haven't been live streaming, and I am committing right now on air live on your show, that it's going to be a Tuesday, Thursday, 1 p.m. Central deal, I believe. But I will get word to you when this starts. It's going to start in the next couple of weeks. I do want to stream about bots. I want to stream about bots so much because it's a perfect thing. They see you on the video, then they get to connect with you in the bot and chat with you as well, personally.
So Tuesday, Thursday at 1 p.m. Then we will tell everyone when our show ends on Tuesday, Thursday at 12 p.m. to go and watch RJ.
Exactly.
I love you right now.
Right. and Robert's saying, "Great show, I know I have to learn about these. It seems like I need to find the 25th hour."
Yeah, me and you both, Robert.
Robert,
like 29 hours.
Whilst you're in a live video mood, RJ, could Tina and I invite you back in January?
Oh, please. Yay. I would love that.
So I would come back in January and tell us the name of her new weekly show and when it's going to air, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I've been playing with a few names. I haven't named it yet. One is Deep Bot Thoughts with Rj Redden. Because I have a pipe and I don't smoke or anything, but I have one, and it just seemed hilarious. But I don't know if that's too out there. So I'm kicking around a few days.
Bots.
What?
Bite-sized bits of information for you every week.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, live streaming is coming, my friends. You've hooked me again.
Right. And that will please Sharon and a lot of people who want to know more about bots. Wow.
You know what's funny? I'm not a Britney Spears fan, so I have no idea why this pops in my head. But every time I see a new bot, and my brain says, "Bot me, baby, one more time." Don't know why.
That's so beautiful. When I got into this, when I got so excited about it, of course I went on to Google domains immediately, and I tackled such domains as All About That Bot, which another popular music reference, absolutely. GetOutYourBot.com, also mine. Get your bot out there, sorry, and a whole bunch of plays on words. It was just so fun, but I love bots so much, it's ridiculous. Bot me, baby, one more time. I'm going to remember that, and that might be the name of my new show. I don't know.
Oh, dear, oh dear. Right, now I'm going to post on RJ's landing page. If you've enjoyed today's show, then the very least you could do is
to drop Stephen.
It's to drop Stephen. We're done. It's you and me now.
Well, I'm there.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Stephen.
Is that a sign? I asked myself. I've got to. No, I know what I am. I've got to touch screen. I must have. No, that didn't happen either. Right. So I'm going to take that off. So you'll be able to find RJ. Just go to the landing page, and we'll put a link in the post afterwards. So it's there permanently. So, do you have 3 top tips? I'm going to put this out. And do you have 3 top tips for building bots?
Yes. Okay. Number 1, be conversational. It's a conversation. It's an entirely different format of writing than what you're used to. Study other bots. Okay, there are tons of bots out there. Get mine. You know you want mine. Get them. There's one at All About That Bot. There's one at Black Belt Bots. And get those bad boys. They're good for you. Get bots run by major companies. There are a ton of them now. So there's a travel website. I forget. There's a squirrel on that website. Why do I forget what that is right now? There's a ton of big businesses using bots. Study the way people are using things. Look at what they're doing and start thinking, okay, I would never do that again, or I'm always going to be doing this. So start kind of thinking about that. Start thinking about what you like and what you don't. Be conversational. And above all, if you run a business that's built on you need to build solid relationships with people, the easiest way to do it is with a one-on-one conversation. Think about a one-on-one conversation. How would that go? How long is it until you allow the person sitting across from you to respond to a question? You know what I mean? When people are writing these bots, they want to go on and on. But what you want to do is keep it short and get to, engage that other person. Are you still interested? What do you have to say? You would do that in a conversation. Do this in your bots and go to ManyChat. Hey, if you don't have a technology degree, go to ManyChat.com. It's worth your time. I promise you. And they're good people. Those are the things that I would say. Brilliant. Probably.
Brilliant. And
there's a site, and I sent this to Stephen yesterday, I think, or the other day. It's called chatbottle.co, and it lists all these different bots by different companies. And so you can, you can always unsubscribe. So subscribe to them and check them out. There's some really fun ones, especially around food and travel. And I'm even seeing a couple of news bots out there. So check them out and see what they're doing. I haven't seen, I think the best examples I've seen have been RJ and Molly. They've been the most fun. I think sometimes they take it too seriously. They have to be so serious.
Now, something we sometimes forget to do, and I think there's very good reason for asking you to do this today. Over the last hour, RJ has imparted great wisdom about bot building, and we thank her for that. if you want other people to know about bots, please share this post wide and far so that we can reach a wider audience and people can learn more about bots. 2018 will be the year of bots, do you think, RJ?
I think that bots are making a huge splash. I think today with this, let's release messenger bots to people's websites. People are going to see this stuff. They're going to start picking up on it. We have been shouting about bots for a little bit. I do think that 2018 is going to be a really exciting year. And I think it's going to be outstanding. Of course, I would think that, but that is what I think. Yes, absolutely.
We have a tradition on this show, and it's okay, RJ, don't panic. I do the intro, and Tina does the outro. So over to you, Tina.
Well, and normally I ask our guests to tell everyone where they can find them, but kind of already done that. And we're going to put links to every bot you have in the comments because I have to go subscribe to them all. But no, thank you. It's delightful, and I really do hope that we see you start doing live because I'll watch. I think it's been delightful, and thank you, Stephen. Stephen, when are you back? Because you're back before I am. I'm back with you on Tuesday.
Indeed, Tina and I are back on Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, and we're talking all about talk show and everything that's happening on the day. And I'm back tomorrow with Brigetti at 1 p.m. Eastern. RJ, thank you. Yes. That's my big deal.
Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you soon.
All right, take care. And from us, it's bye for now. But the three of us will be back in January 2018, and RJ will be back before that. Okay, take care. And bye for now. And thank you for watching. And end the broadcast.